Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. I hope you all had a truly fabulous Easter. I had a pretty good one. I was away for a week, as you know, nowhere exotic, just over to my mum's house for the week. Because basically, when you have loads of kids and not a lot of cash, you don't get to do fun and exciting things anymore. God, I just realised really insulted my mother. It's fine. It's fine. She doesn't watch this this sort of stuff like most pensioners. She's into shooters rather than RTS. That's just the way it goes. But anyway, yeah, I had a pretty good time. We're going to go for like 2 casts this week, something like that, and then next week when the kids go back to school, hoping to ramp up back to 3 or 4 or so, because you guys seem to be enjoying it at the end of last term. Now, I'm going to pose a scenario to you guys. I want you to imagine that you have reached the pinnacle of excellence in FAF, and on a good day there's only 4 or 5 people in the community that really stand a chance of beating you. Well, what do you do when those 4 or 5 people aren't online? It's a conundrum, right? That's quite simple. You go 2v1, baby. That's right. And if you were looking at the scroll bar at the bottom during that little intro section, then you will be well aware of what's in store. Very exciting stuff, and it's going to go down on Crimson Feud. I'm ready, you guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready, because this replay was sent to me before I went away. So let's go over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. That's right, Crimson Feud. We've done enough of this in the past. We know what we're dealing with here. Let's take a look at our players. So the team with 2 players on is rather confusingly Team 1, and that'll be up here at the top right. Going first for Team 1, we have Mayor Damage in Baby Blue. He's going Aeon, opening first air, and his teammate down here in the bottom right is the Egg Roll, my very good friend in Regal Purple, going Seraphim, opening first land. So that's Team 1. Team 2, all down by him's lonesome. Down here at the bottom, it's none other than the one, the only, the quintessential, my very good friend, Zoc. That's right. Very sensibly going UEF. He's going to need some of that defensive or tankiness to survive in a scenario like this. In Hallyborange Orange there, opening first land. So there you go. UI says gain quality 6%. Well, that's because even with the odds stacked against him, these guys are going to have an uphill battle, I have a feeling. 6%. That, of course, as far as the UI is concerned, is looking at it the other direction, what with Team 2 missing a player. But you actually look at the scores, so Mayor Damage, or the rating, sorry, Mayor Damage 1200, so that's like a upper middle level Joe there, and the Egg Roll at 1600, it's like a low level pro. But anyway, the first unit out there for Mayor Damage, T1 Bomber, looking for engineers to take out. Zoc already on the move up to take that other starting location. The ACU eats the bomb to begin with, but a very nice second bomb there from Mayor Damage, and a third takes out 3 engineers between them. Is he going to get another one here? Doesn't quite manage to get the bomb away, and now we have an archer on the field, but a mobile anti-air there from Zoc responding to that air threat. So Zoc is going to have to be Johnny on the spot with the ACU here, backwards and forwards between the likely avenues of attack from both Mayor Damage and the Egg Roll, coming in from here and here, while at the same time trying to combat the air threat. It's all about APM in something like this. Zoc isn't going to have an awful lot of time to tech up his eco, not an awful lot of eco to tech up his eco as well. He's going to have to produce lots of units, and very quickly indeed. The bomber claims another engineer scout. There we go, poor old Jono. Brother just got back from the war safe and sound. His mother's going to be so upset, but there he is. So 4 engineers down for that T1 bomber. Mayor Damage still in his base with his ACU, and rather curiously hasn't picked up any mass extractors yet. That's a very unusual build order to open with. He's got 1 over here that's online, but he's still got mass in the bank, so he's not bottlenecked as yet, but he certainly wants to get those online ASAP. Another bombing run for that T1 bomber. He's up to 5 engineer kills now. That's a massive issue for Zoc, who wants to get started here ASAP. Zok lining up his air factory. Needs to get T1 P-Gens online first. But we have the first land incursion coming in now from the egg roll, moving in from the east. And there's not a lot on the ground here for Zok. He's going to need to yank his ACU and pull it back to the main base. Couple of units of build capacity come under fire, and a third that rolls straight off the conveyor belt. The radar's surely going to go down. There it goes. And it looks like a mass extractor and maybe even the hydro might go down. That's really going to hurt Zok. He'll be left with just the 4 T1 P-Gens over there. There goes the hydro. What's that done to his power? It's got a minus 142 net with current expenditure. That puts Zok in a pretty pickle, and just for good measure, the egg roll manages to snag that mech's kill as well. So nice little opening exchange there from the egg roll. Zok immediately moves over and rebuilds the hydro. Is he going to get it online in time before the power storage runs out? Well, yeah, he is. He might still be short a bob or two. And you can see when he's building, he still is down just a tad, but rows of P-Gens lined up all over the shop to try and sort that issue out. Interceptors, or an interceptor out now for Zok, so a little bit of air defense if Mayor Damage should decide to send any more bombers his way. That air factory currently producing T1 engineers at the moment, though, so no danger of that. Eco-wise, it looks like Team 2 up there at the top has a mild advantage, waiting for the reclaim to count out. There we go. So it looks to be like 23 to 46 at current reading there on Eco. So if you take the two players together, that's a pretty sizable advantage, but of course a lot of that has to be spent on extra development, more factories, upgrading of eco and everything, so that's not all going to get piled into units and flung Zok's way right away, but still not a situation you want to be sitting at for long. Zok is going to want to take a scalp of one of these guys, and quickly. Zok getting an upgrade there on his comm. The egg roll paying homage to that opening bomber there from Mayor Damage, living up to his name. Northwestern mass extractor and eastern mass extractors under attack now simultaneously. And the egg roll leading the charge in front of his troops with his ACU ready to inflict maximum damage. Zok still on an upgrade that is just about to finish, though. Egg roll being a little bit cagey, but I think he could have afforded to get in there and kill off the hydro once again. That would really have stung. And Zok has completed T2. Air Damage completed the range upgrade on his gun. Another band of troops, this time from Mayor Damage, moving down the western edge of the map. It's going to run into pretty stiff opposition. Needs to use the range advantage he's got there on the Auroras. Nice little bit of micro evading some of that incoming fire from the strikers, but too many strikers on the field, and of course that micro allowing those strikers to get into position, cut down that range advantage the Auroras have, and bye-bye Aeon T1 spam. Thank you very much, says Zok. Another upgrade on the go. That's the gun damage and range there for Zok. So he's got the Zeph Amp and T2 engineering suite on that commander now. He's going to want to use that probably to fend off one attack, and maybe even the troops to fend off the other. Depends how much stuff is sent his way. Incidentally, I know you guys, or one or two of you guys, really upset about the position with the mini-map and stuff, and I said I was going to look at it. Well, I forgot. So I will do, I promise, in a upcoming cast at some point, but I'm not going to do it on the fly here in the middle of a game. Nice little push from Zok, threatening this top left-hand corner that Mayor Damage has managed to secure, but in comes Mayor Damage's ACU. He's got the range upgrade, of course, on that Aeon ACU, so That is a nasty little weapon. He can put to good use if he can get out of the trench he's currently sitting in. A lot of fire going to waste there on that comm. Egg Roll amassing a sizable army over in the southeast, and I feel like Team 1 need to be a little bit more aggressive. The more time they afford Zoc, the more of their advantage they're giving away. Early game pressure in this kind of situation is vital for the team with the larger number of players over time. Otherwise, you allow that person to make good on the extra eco, and then they can direct it more forcefully, pour it into large super weapons like experimentals and stuff like that, while your eco is split between two people. So you don't want to let them get set up if at all possible. Zoc now with the TAC missile upgrade on his commander, and a TAC missile loaded as well. And there goes the first missile from the backpack, going straight after the Egg Roll's ACU. Egg Roll spots the danger and moves on out. That missile just going to kill what looked like a single Zui or a Tham there. That backpack incredibly efficient at the TAC missile construction, still going after the Egg Roll's ACU. Egg Roll rightly worried about eating one of those missiles. Is going to carry on further back, and so Zoc is going to roll on through and engage the Egg Roll spam, which he left in between Zoc and his ACU. The odd overcharge here and there, going to pick up multiple kills. Zefam doing the rest. Zoc has taken a bit of damage. He's down to around 11.5k, mostly I think from Zui fire. But Zoc has amassed a pretty sizable T1 army himself. He's only putting out 31 mass per tick. Does manage to grab the bottom right hand corner. Air damage wheeling to seal off that attack from Zoc, while at the same time heading south with his ACU. Going to pick off an engineer and a mass extractor up there, but he needs to be careful. Doesn't want to get caught by any of this spam. He's got an open door, but that door will only be open for a short period of time. Now Zoc coming in to engage the Auroras from Mare damage on two fronts there. Cease and desist order served. Mare damage will back up out of there and retain control of those forces. T2 Tech on the field in the ground game there for Mare damage. And that is also the situation for the Egg Roll. Both guys now have T2 units in the field. Obsidians up front for Mare damage, and Ilshivas over in the east there for the Egg Roll. Tech, however, is a luxury that Zoc can only dream of. His pitiful economy by comparison, not able to even dream about such things. Zoc did find time to throw up a triad over in the east. That's going to pick off the odd unit. Could have done with a T1 PD in there as well, with the amount of spam that's heading that way, but it should get quite a few kills. 8 on there already. Now Mare damage under TAC missile attack from Zoc, and that was a pretty good effort from all the way back there. Nice leading on the target from our pro UEF. Egg Roll really needs to push again down in the southeast. Mayor Damage finds himself outgunned over in the west. Zoc moving forward now with a pretty scary looking commander already healed up from the 11,500 hit point com we saw just a moment ago. Attack missile out. How good's his lead? Well, it doesn't get much better than that. Mayor Damage eats one, or at least takes a little bit of collateral damage as it impacts on the ground right to the left of him. Mayor Damage now down into the yellow, and Zoc, having caused that damage on the ACU season opening here, rolling in with those strikers. Mayor Damage now into the red, 1,000 hit points remaining, gets a rank of veterancy, pops him back up to 2,000, but there's way too much incoming fire, and Mayor Damage bites the dust after just 14 minutes. Zoc, incredibly dangerous, that kill set up perfectly with that lovely little tac missile play from Zoc. The Egg Roll now must surely feel pretty daunted. Yes, he's got a sizable advantage in eco, but 2v1, Zoc has just steamrolled his teammate and now has only him to fixate upon. I love the protectionist play here. Look at the row of 4 TMD up in front of the Egg Roll's base. 5, in fact, if you count the one further back. The Egg Roll wisely concerned about that backpack launcher on the commander after seeing his, especially after seeing his teammate get rolled by it. Zoc trying to get a T1 PD online in the center, might just manage it. However, the Egg Roll has hit T3, starting to see Otham's siege tanks on the field. .56 kills now on that commander, 2 stars to his name, and a regen of 36 hit points a second. Only adds to the danger for Egg Roll. He's on about 30 hit points a second with no stars. But now the real games begin. Large wave of T1 bombers coming in to attack these siege tanks, but they are like the buzzing of flies to Vigo, who just carries on moving, absorbs that damage, and the scary part for Zoc is there's 2 more of them to their flank. Zoc eating a little bit of fire from Egg Roll now. He's also got a gun upgrade on his comm. Large rate of fire and range off the ACU. He's down to around 13,700 hit points are Zoc. Build capacity, hastily building T1 PDs in the main base for the Egg Roll. Otham's coming in now around the side of Zoc's ACU. Of course, though, quick overcharge deals with them. T3 factory must remain online at all costs if the Egg Roll wants to stand a chance of winning this. T1 bombers now going after the tactical missile defense, and in fact I think Zoc has managed to take all of the front row ones out, now going after the ones in the second row. Boom, baby. 1 TMD remains in the center up there, and that is it. Suddenly the TAC missile launcher looks dangerous once again, as long as Zoc gives that launcher a wide berth. Or sorry, not launcher, defense a wide berth. Zoc now in place at the top left, but has lost the bottom right to a single Otham that's made its way down there from the Egg Roll. Taking another look at Eco, Zoc still throwing everything he's got into aggression. 37 to 75, the Egg Roll with a commanding economic lead now. That TMD holding its own in the center. Zok, if he can get rid of that, he'll be on to a winner here, leaving that newly constructed T2 P-Gen pretty vulnerable. Zok rolling in with his ACU for the parashield for protection, going up against the Egg Roll's ACU and also now an Otham. Five-star commander for Zok, 77 kills to his name. Another advantage to going backpack attack missile launcher is the easy leveling that you can do in veterancy. Extra points you get for base building kills. Egg Roll now on the retreat. 8,800 hit points remaining in the center of his base, trying to keep up with the relentless aggression from Zok. Zok moving in with a whole platoon of pillars, going up against the Hydro now, could really do with taking down that T3 land factory. If only had some Lobos to accompany them. A little bit of extra damage versus those structures. I think Zok is happy to throw away these tanks for the moment, keep the Egg Roll busy while he reformulates. Really the biggest tool in Zok's arsenal right now is that attack missile launcher. 87 kills now on that comm. Another one away, going after that T3 factory, knocks it down into the yellow. 12,480 hit points left out of 21,000. A couple more attack missile connections and that will be the end of that factory, but a newly constructed TMD picks off the next missile, manages to keep it alive. Zok throws up T1 PD. That's going to open up on the build capacity that's trying to repair the T3 land factory. Egg Roll doesn't like the look of that, so he's going to roll in and overcharge it with his commander. NG's back here for the Egg Roll, trying to get a T2 point defense online. A couple of them get greased by Zok's ACU before it withdraws, and so in fact 2 T2 PDs are gonna make it. So there we go. That's gonna afford him a little extra defense. It's still 79 to 37. In fact, Zok hasn't made any moves to increase his mass output at all in about the last 5-6 minutes or so. That's really unusual, and that shows you just how all in he is. This is the equivalent of a tennis player at the net right now, batting away counter-attacks from the Egg Roll. He's trying to pass him. Lots of Zooey fire, and he's eating lots of it unnecessarily. 45 hit points a second now, flying back onto that ACU. 21 minutes gone in this so far. 94k total mass harvested for all of Team 2. Sorry, all of Team 1 and Team 2. That's just Zok on his own, remember. That's 48k in this game so far. These guys have been toe-to-toe at the foot of the Egg Roll's base, right on the doorstep for about the last 6 minutes, 7 minutes, something like that. Nice overcharge from Zok's comm, takes care of another siege tank. Once again, the Egg Roll rolls on out with his commander, and Zok, having eaten some T2 PD, is not looking healthy at all. Lets loose another attack missile. That gets shot down, I believe. Zok down to 8,800 hit points and retreats. This could be a chance for a counterattack now from the Egg Roll, who is moving on out. We do have T2 tech, as we saw already on the field from those pillars for Zoc. We're still on T1. No, we're not. I was about to say T1 air. We're on T2 for air. And Janus being produced. That is a unit mismatch. No real airplay in the skies from the egg roll. He's starting to produce scout planes now to get a read on what's going on, and this isn't going to make him happy at all when he spies the Janus. If he spies the Janus, it seems to get shot down pretty damn quickly. And now that Janus inbound, question is, what's Zoc going after? Flies straight over the top of the commander. Going in after the power grid initially. One of the two T2 P-Gens is down. Sorry, one of the three T2 P-Gens is down. Another one badly damaged. That's below 50% health. Bombing run continues on the third. That's going to go down, and so is the other one. What does that do to the egg roll's power? Well, that has crucified it. Minus 890 power net on current expenditure. Zoc under attack once again from the egg roll, who's marching forward straight into some triad fire that Zoc has quickly thrown together. That's bought Zoc enough time to continue to retreat. More tac missiles out from Zoc's ACU that's still been going after that T3 HQ, and that does connect despite getting hit by at least one round of TMD fire. So that T3 land factory down to around 9,600 mere damage, trying to remind his teammate that he's out of tactical missile defense again around that factory. Another large wave of Janus. What's it going for now? Going after the flak, it would seem. There goes the Sinatha. And that should allow these Janus a little extra time over the top of the egg roll's base. Meanwhile, Zoc in retreat away from some Othams and some T1 spam that's coming his way. Janus, though, all over the egg roll's base. And now they're heading south and going after the ACU. Zoc on the move back to base, but the egg roll forced to dance here at the 25-minute mark under sustained attack, and we're going to keep an eye now on these two theaters. The egg roll under serious pressure from the sky, but Zoc under serious pressure on the ground. It's all happening here at the same time. Zoc with 9,400 hit points left. The egg roll stops for just a second. That is a very ill-advised move indeed. Needs to get some anti-aircraft firepower online, but doesn't manage it. And I can't believe it. Zoc is gonna win and pull off a beautiful, beautiful Janus kill when really things weren't looking great for him at all. I mean, he's still, even at the end there, only 45 mass per tick. I know that Janus had inflicted quite a lot of damage in the main base there for the egg roll, but still very, very nicely played indeed. And that is a fine lesson there in how to utilize what resources you have available. He spied the mismatch, went straight for T2 air, and fighter bombed to death. And then not only that, picked the target superbly straight after the power grid, then after the flak and the tactical missile defense to allow continual pressure from the ACU. And then of course when all of that was beaten up and the base was smoking, went after the ACU. So very well done indeed from Zoc. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. As always, more to come from me in the future, but in the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile signing out.